Welcome to Inside Lake Forest. I'm Eileen, Looby, your host, and today I have the pleasure of visiting with the Deerpath Garden Club. Founded in 1960 by a group of women, this club continues to foster friendship and horticulture, serving in our community. Good morning, ladies. Thank you so much for joining me today.
It's our pleasure.
Bonita Friedland and Connie Maines, both with the Deerpath Garden Club. Tell me a little bit about the history of when did the club begin?
The club actually began in the fall of 1960, so we are celebrating our 50th anniversary this year. And it was a group of about 20 women who wanted to get together and form a club where they would learn, enjoy gardening and learn more. Okay. Flower arranging and gardening.
Well, tell me some of the other events maybe that you used to host as part of the club.
Well, the garden clubs usually have a flower show every so often. And as Connie remembers, we started out with a bang, didn't we, with our
flower shows. This club, when it started, was so energetic that in the first 6 months, they had both a flower show and a garden walk, both of which take a lot of preparation. And then we've continued the garden walk. We still have one every year. And at first it was just to go through the members' gardens and see how they'd matured and changed and how they'd applied what they'd learned through the garden club.
And you know, a very important aspect is to educate.
Okay.
To educate one another and perhaps other people like your guests. So our garden walks would be wonderful in that we could learn something new and then go and apply it. And at the end of our season is the start, really, of our work, because that's when we garden, but that's when the club meetings end.
Okay.
So that we could spend time in our gardens. So the garden walk was wonderful. We'd get all these ideas, because it was usually in June, and then we could go do it.
Oh, wonderful.
So that was a big, fun part of it.
And then, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, it got to be so popular that then it became a fundraiser.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. We discovered, then we'd have a project.
Okay.
So if we had a project and didn't have enough money, then we'd have a fundraiser. And our big fundraisers early were the Christmas boutiques.
Okay.
And they were held at the most of them were at the Glen Rowan House, but some, the old history says some were at the Highland Park Country Club and the Deerpath Inn, wherever you could have them. But those were, and we made all the items that we sold at the boutiques.
Yeah. So
but now we're a little more sophisticated, but we still have the boutiques.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about these events back and how they've maybe progressed.
Well, we made all these Christmas decorations, and one day, you know, a year we would have the sale. And how we got the Glen Rowan house is that we made a deal with them. We decorated the house for Christmas for them.
Oh my
and
gosh.
they gave us the use of the space, so it was perfect.
And we were the only ones who could do it.
Yeah, so we enjoyed it immensely. But on the day of the show would begin about, or the sale, the market would begin about 8:30 in the morning. At 6 in the morning, there was a line.
Oh my goodness.
Because it's first come, first served, and it's all handmade.
And it was over with by noon. And we made the money there to fund whatever we did as a club. And also we've done a lot of things in the city.
And you also probably over the years too, you've been involved I think over at Lake Forest Place as well, and doing some other decorating.
That was Christmas decorating.
Okay.
Like
Yes, and we did the hospital garden. We had a tree at the hospital every Christmas, and we provided the ornaments and the theme.
So we did a planting at Croya's new facility.
Okay.
In fact, Bonita was in charge of that, and they did the whole hillside and bulbs.
Bulb planting, and then we provided the urns that are in front of the Croya Center.
Okay. So really, it's been a whole year-round of projects that you're working on. I mean, truly, the garden never stops growing. And so, you know, granted, it's hibernating during our winter months, but then you're producing things like decorating in some of our local areas.
Well, and then we learn about flower arranging in the homes. That's more in the winter time.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's another aspect. See, what we would do is have a fundraiser one year, then a flower show the next.
Flower show.
So the flower show stories are amazing because it's a lot of work. You've got the state of Illinois, you've got the National Association of Garden Clubs, and the rule book is this thick.
Oh, really?
And we're in competition all of a sudden, and we have to provide a theme, and it can really be amazing.
And it's juried, so they
Okay. Sure. And of course, a lot of your history too is on your website, correct?
Yes.
So if someone wanted to find out any more information, they could go to that. And is that deerpathgc.org, I think?
Even if you Google Deerpath Garden Club,
you'll
get it.
You will get it.
Perfect.
So.
Excellent. Well, ladies, thank you so much for taking the time with me.
Thank you.
And it's been a pleasure being here in this beautiful setting. Nancy, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. Nancy Stack, who is the current president of the Deerpath Garden Club.
Well, thank you for having us. We're delighted that you came, that we can be part of the Inside Lake Forest family.
Oh, you're welcome. Now, Nancy, tell me how long you've been a member of the club.
I have been a member of the club for about 10 years and have been enjoying it very much.
Now, as president, give me a little idea of how one, if they were interested, might be able to join.
Well, there's a process.
Okay.
And the process goes something like this. Let's say, for example, that I had a friend or acquaintance that I wanted to bring into the club, someone who was interested in gardening. I would bring her to 2 meetings. She would then fill out, if she's interested in pursuing membership, she would fill out an application with our club, read our bylaws to find out what the requirements and responsibilities of membership might be, and then after filling out the application, it would be presented at a board meeting, and likely she would become a member if we did not have a waiting list.
Perfect. So really one is almost sponsored then into the club by
indeed.
a current member.
Sponsorship is part of membership.
Wonderful. And then as a member, do you have a couple different categories that your members fall into?
We do indeed. We have 3 main categories. The first one being active, the second associate, and the third sustainer. Active members have certain responsibilities that the other 2 groups do not have. Active members are expected to attend meetings regularly. They're expected to help with our planting of the Telegraph Road train station garden, and of course with the cleanup in the fall. That's not always the most fun part, but we do have a good time anyway. Associates and sustainers have pretty much the same privileges as the other groups. They do not have to participate in the planting or the cleanup of that.
But and you also have social events as well. So
we do have social events. We have a lovely garden walk every year. This year's garden walk was particularly lovely because we had about 230 people attend. They toured 4 beautiful gardens, and afterwards we had a wonderful luncheon and boutique that raised a good deal of money, the vast majority of which is going to go to our philanthropy.
Well, and every year, and you have a garden walk every year,
yes,
so
we
it's
do.
Continue with more members involved and new gardens.
And new gardens. There are a lot of beautiful gardens in this area.
Well, Bonita and Connie mentioned that going back in the history that you would often visit your members' gardens as watching them mature and change, and how the education aspect of the club teaches everyone so they can bring those ideas home, especially after seeing these other beautiful gardens.
Yes, the educational aspect of our club is very important. The philanthropic aspect is very important, but so is the education. And I think we are especially blessed in our club because we have so many talented members who actually share their expertise with our members. And then in addition to that, we bring in speakers from outside for our programs, and it's always very productive.
And Nancy, how many members do you have at this point in the club?
We have 75 members in our club. We have a maximum of 40 in the category of active.
And you have a couple of founding members who are still active in the club?
We have one founding member who is considered a life and charter member because she is a founding member. And we had a life member that just recently passed away, and if I may, I would love to tell you the story.
Sure, please.
That is connected with her. Ruth Collier passed away this last winter, and then in April her family had a memorial service for her here, and our club members had the privilege, several of us, to go to her memorial service, to meet with her family. We presented a little album to them that had pictures of her that went back many, many years, and we were, I think, inspired so much by it because we found out from her family just how much her garden club membership had meant to her, and how much she talked about it, and how much she just seemed to enjoy it and passed it on to her granddaughter. And a really lovely thing is that her granddaughter then came to that garden walk that we were talking about before, and I think was very touched by the fact that we presented her a plaque in honor of her grandmother.
Oh, how wonderful.
So it was just a very lovely kind of thing to do for the family, and I think inspiring for all of us.
Fantastic. Well, it just truly shows that the club is, while it's fostering the horticulture and the education side, but friendship is such an important piece.
Yes, friendship is a very important piece. We consider ourselves a garden of friends.
Wonderful.
Our motto has friendship as part of it. So
fantastic. Well, Nancy, thank you so much for spending some time with me, and I look forward to meeting with Pam next, who will talk to me about the philanthropy and moving forward.
Thank you very much for having us. As
Thank
I
you.
said, we're delighted to be a part of this.
My pleasure. Pam Bailey, you are the chair of the Civic Awareness for the Deerpath Garden Club.
I am.
And Pam, how long have you been a member?
I have been a member with the group for over 10 years.
Okay, wonderful.
And have loved being with the group. I was not an avid gardener until I really got involved with the group, and the gals are so friendly. The programs are very informative, and I've learned a tremendous amount of information from the group, as well as
wonderful.
met a lot of great gals.
That's fantastic.
So I enjoy it.
Well, you're going to talk to me a little bit about the philanthropy side, which is an important piece from what I've learned about the
Yes,
club.
It is.
If you could start and talk to me a little bit about your biggest project, I think that, year-long that you work on.
Right. We've kind of channeled our energy into the Telegraph train station, which is on the west side of Lake Forest.
Okay.
I don't know if they've mentioned it before, but a group of gals started the gardens over on the west side of the train station a number of years ago.
Okay.
And it started out in a very kind of a small kidney bean shape, and it progressed, and our gals maintain and work those gardens themselves physically.
Oh my goodness.
So we cover the cost of all that, and that's kind of our project. That's part of our responsibility. And so we have fundraisers every 2 years.
That's so nice.
So I think it's turned out really well. We've gotten a lot of wonderful feedback from some of the residents that are immediately impacted in that area, and have been happy with it. Well, and you know what? It's always nice to feel like you're giving back to the community that you live in. And I think this has been something that has kind of channeled the interest of a lot of our members within our garden club. And it's really the beauty of it. It's kind of spilled over to kind of joining forces with the other 3 garden clubs that are in Lake Forest too. And the city has a civic beautification committee that the 4 garden clubs meet, and we sit and talk with the city officials and go over some of the possible projects that are coming up within the city limits in order to be able to encourage, donation bases that will come from the garden clubs of this community. I mean, it's a beautiful community.
It is.
Everybody wants to enjoy it, and we like it to be a good representative of people that are coming in that are non-residents also, so they can enjoy it too.
Fantastic. Now also, Pam, tell me a little bit too, we'll kind of make our way around here, about your involvement at Elowa. Because you've also, I know the clubs had workshops or meetings and participated there, and since that's also really an important piece to our community.
Well, it is. That's a specific treasure, I think, to Lake Forest. It's kind of like Ragdale is. We've given to Ragdale also, and Elowa Farms is a parcel that's is being renovated. The gardens are being redone to the original specifications of the landscape design. And we kind of came into using the barn facility for some of our meetings.
Okay.
And in doing so, realized that Elowa had some needs with some specific things that they needed. And so we have contributed to Elowa in the past. So a lot of our gals work in the gardens, and when they have their farmers market on Thursdays and Saturdays and so forth, our gals are helpers in the kitchen. We make the soups, and we cut the flowers with Marion Cartwright and Dee Dee Borland, and I think there's been a real passion for that parcel, and so I foresee that we'll also keep a strong connection with them too.
Wonderful. Yeah. Pam, thank you.
Oh,
we enjoyed
thank you very much.
I look forward to seeing you at another club function.
We definitely will count on seeing you too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching Inside Lake Forest. As you know, today we've been visiting with the Deerpath Garden Club. We hope you've enjoyed a glimpse into their history and may now be able to acknowledge their contributions to our beautiful community.